Hello, fellow simmers. My name is a feral simmer, and today we are doing part 3 of my stupidhood introductions, and we are in Strangetown. So yeah, this is my first full Strangetown playthrough. I really have not played far into the game, just because my lack of interest with this very small neighborhood kind of kept me away. So being able to play it in such a large neighborhood was kind of the best of both worlds. So I believe Strangetown is actually my smallest of the subhoods connected. So, but there's definitely a few people here, lots of new faces that we'll actually get to introduce some older faces, but not many actually. So I feel like it's right to start at the Curious household. It's still the same house, but there's not really any familiar faces here, so I would like to introduce you to Amos Curious, his wife Naomi, and their child Wisteria. And their description is Amos is very grateful to live in Strangetown. Anywhere else, he would be considered an alien. I mean, he is, but he still feels like a normal sim. Can his wife Naomi adjust to the desert? So welcome to my Curious household. This is the original household in the game. Oh, looks like I don't have it up on the full roof. I do hate this house, but I have made it work for the most part, especially now that I have this nice little greenhouse. This is actually for Naomi, who's into nature. That's her one true hobby. So here we have Amos Curious, Naomi Curious, and Wisteria. Amos is the child that Pascal is pregnant with at the beginning of the Strangetown rotation. So this is Pollination Technician. This is the original one. This is before I added the mod that will change your pollination technicians. So he's 19 days from becoming an elder. Him and Naomi have a fairly big age difference between them, but he's a popularity sim. He's a Libra, so he is max neat, very outgoing. He's lazy, he's serious, but he's very, very nice. He's in the education career, level 8. He seems pretty happy being at this career level, so I'm not going to push him trying to get higher up unless he does eventually get the wants for it. So in my head, I kind of have him being like one of those cool teachers that everybody likes. I'm actually going to go find him. So here's Amos. I think he's going to go pick up his daughter. I just wanted to get a close look at him. He does actually look a lot like the original pollination technician. I believe he has a secondary, so he's a secondary knowledge sim. And he has a lucky trait, a computer whiz trait, a mooch trait, a light sleeper trait, and a natural cook trait. So he's just going to live out his life. Like I said, he's 19 days from becoming an elder, while Naomi here is 35 days. So there's a pretty significant difference. Amos just kind of went around and he was just dating random sims, generally just romance sims. So he was just kind of non-committed, and then he ended up meeting Naomi, and they got along great because they're both popularity sims. She's actually probably, let me go check her out. Yeah, she's out here in her little greenhouse area. I wanted to make sure that she still got a nice little green area. All of her plants do very, very well because she has, I think, max. She has the max skill. I want her to finish up. Here she is. So she is actually the daughter of Nina Caliente and Daniel Pleasant, who has passed. So this is Nina's oldest daughter. We met Justine in Pleasant View. She's still living with her mother. Naomi did not go to university, so she only has her 4 slots. However, I did want to make it that, like, she's kind of a hippie in my mind. So she enjoys like being out in nature, and like she's definitely like one of those crunchy moms. So I just definitely wanted to give her like this kind of like floral flower power, and like I feel like the haircut really suits that more like 70s vibe for her. I did give her a custom career. This is the alchemy career that I downloaded from Mod The Sims, and she is a poison crafter. I don't remember what level this is. For her personality, she is a Pisces, so she is a little bit more neat. She's kind of shy. She's a little bit more active, a little bit more serious, but very, very nice. Since they are both popularity Sims, they definitely like to have people around their house, so I would like to eventually give them a house that has better routing for one thing, because the routing is terrible in this house. For her, excuse me. For her secondary, she's also a knowledge sim. And then for her traits, she is proper, a light sleeper, a schmoozer, ambitious, and a green thumb, which makes sense for her. So yeah, she's definitely, there is a little bit of a disconnect between Amos and Naomi when it comes to like the age difference, but for the most part, they get along really, really well. And then I'm going to go see their daughter, Wisteria. So I just wanted Amos to come over and pick up his daughter here. She does look a little goofy, but I think she looks like her mother a little bit. But she definitely got her father's green skin. And of course, gotta have the red hair. Lots of red hair Sims in this neighborhood. She did just become a toddler, so she still hasn't learned any of her skills yet. For her personality, she is pretty neat. She's very outgoing, pretty active, serious, and nice. So I will either have her be a popularity sim or a romance sim, one of the two. And then, yeah, she's just going to worry about growing up. So we won't actually, she's going to be a toddler for a little while. And she should be pretty interesting to see when she grows up. But I did want to show off, I don't want to say show off, but show the tombstones back here. This is Nervous and Pascal's tombstones. They passed away very recently. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn Olive's old house into the Strangetown cemetery and just kind of have like an NPC that lives there. At least that's the plan. And then I'll just move them over there, and then I'll have a new house for them because I would like more room in this house. So one last full look at the Curious house. I am hoping to find a house that at least has like the dramatic stairs and stuff. I've seen some good options, I just haven't committed yet. Now this is a newer family in Strangetown. This is the Spectre family, which obviously everybody knows the Spectre last name, but this is actually the adopted son of Pascal and Nervous, and I didn't think he wanted to be a Curious, so I figured giving him the Spectre last name so it can live on. I felt like that was a good idea, but this is Wyatt. This is his wife Odette and their new child Carlisle, and I'll read their description. Wyatt always felt like the normal one out in his unconventional family. All he wanted to was to fit in, but all he wants now is to stand out and frankly stand above. With him up in his career, a big house, and with the most beautiful woman in town by his side, will he finally be able to be satisfied? And here they are. So this is the Spectre house. I definitely wanted to keep kind of that, southwestern look for a lot of the houses here in Strangetown, but this is the house of Wyatt Spectre, his wife Odette, and their child Carlisle. I'll go ahead and bring up his family tree real quick. So yeah, this is the adopted child of Nervous and Pascal. So he is not blood related to either of them. Nervous just had the want to adopt another child, so I feel like it was, doable. Pascal wanted to have a child of his own. However, Wyatt is very normal, and that doesn't always work out well in Strangetown. Odette here is the daughter of Brandy and Armand de Bateau. She is the only daughter of Brandy, so she is very, very, very spoiled, and she always has been. So she only decided to move in with Wyatt here once he kind of had the nice house and everything, and they ended up getting married and having their first child literally yesterday. So this is a brand new family here. And here is Wyatt Spector. He is a fortune sim, and he is 26 days away from becoming an elder. He did go to college, but he has joined the criminal career. When it comes to Wyatt, Wyatt is actually severely in debt. He knew that when it came down to Odette and trying to impress her family, that they would never really approve of him if he didn't have all of the things that she was accustomed to. So they're actually wildly in debt. Odette has no idea. So he's just trying to make as much money as he can. I did give him the little cash generator over here, or simoleon generator. So he uses that occasionally. I'm just going to go over Wyatt's personality here. So Wyatt is a Gemini, so he's sloppy, he's very outgoing, very active, a little bit more playful, but about as grouchy as you can get. And then for his secondary romance, so obviously he's had some flings on the side. And then for his traits, he is mean-spirited, he is a born salesman, a schmoozer, charismatic, and a daredevil. And then Naomi here, I'm going to bring her out. I just wanted to get a full look at Odette here. So yeah, Odette is the daughter of Brandy and Armand. I did have to give her plastic surgery, but for the most part, I think she's a very pretty sim, and she knows it. She is a fortune sim. She grew up in wealth, and she has no reason to think that she will not have wealth at any point in her life. She's a Pisces, so she's sloppy, she's shy, she's very active, a little bit more playful, but she's extremely nice. My thing for her, I kind of want to give her I see her as being like Paris Hilton. Like, she's kind of a bimbo, she's not the smartest, but she's still like savvy, like she knows how to play being dumb. Even though I wouldn't say she's the smartest, but she knows how to play her strengths, I will say that. She is a secondary family sim. So yeah, she's very excited to have her son. For her traits, she has a good sense of humor, she's a diva, she's absent-minded, she's lucky, and I haven't given her her fifth one yet, her fifth trait. I gave her a modeling job. This is a custom job that I also got for Mod the Sims, so she is currently a hand model. So even though she, wouldn't have to work a day in her life, she still chose to go into the modeling career. So she's definitely, a little superficial. So also another inspiration for her was Naomi from Wolf of Wall Street, if you've seen it. So I feel like that fits her pretty well. But she's very preppy. I always want to put her in more designer-like clothes. And then they have their son Carlisle here, who's currently having a glitch, but he's just a baby. So when he grows up, we'll actually see what genetics he got, because Armand's genetics are terrible. I did give Odette plastic surgery. I don't know if I changed them in SimPE to be her actual genetics. I feel like I did try with Armand's kids. I was really hoping that Brandy's genes would come in and save the day, but no luck there. So, and that is the Spector household. Yeah, my whole idea with this family is kind of giving it like a Wolf of Wall Street type of vibe. So that should be fun and a very dramatic rotation with these guys coming up next. I feel like we should go to another very iconic house here, but does not have any familiar Sims anymore. We're going to go over here to the Smith household. We have Astro Smith, Talia Smith, Vander Smith, and Idalia Smith. So we'll go ahead and read their description. And it says, Astro always had so much respect for his parents, even though his father passed while he was very young. It's made him cherish time with his family more. The Curious clan is large and mighty, but it's going to take more in order to keep everything together. Welcome to the Smith home. As iconic as ever. So I would like to introduce you to Astro Smith, Talia Smith, Vander Smith. We'll see him when he gets back from school, and little Idalia. So Astro Smith is the son of Jenny and pollination technician. Him and his twin brother here that we saw in Veronaville, Sirius. They are twins. So he was the one that ended up inheriting this house. He's a family sim, so I thought it, fit him well enough. Talia here is she's also from Veronaville originally. She is Constance and Kent Walker's oldest daughter. So here is Astro. He is actually a very cute sim. He is a family sim, so he certainly looks like he's at this point trying to focus more on his career. He is currently, I believe he's education career, so he is also a college senior professor, level 8, and he does want to get a promotion. He is a Sagittarius, so he's pretty neat. He's shy, very active, very playful, and a little bit grouchy. He is a secondary fortune sim, and then he is a perfectionist, grumpy, can't stand art, vegetarian, and flirty. So he is just kind of chilling right now. He is supposed to be at work. Wait, let's show you. So here is Astro. Like I said earlier, I do like giving my green-skinned sims a more space-related name, even if they aren't from Strangetown. Here's Talia. She's actually she's playing with her daughter Idalia here. Talia and Idalia. Isn't that cute? So yeah, this is Talia. She is a knowledge sim. She's a Cap. She's part of the Cap tribe, even though her last name was Walker. She's super cute. She is in the journalism career. So she is an investigatory journalist. And it looks like she does want to keep going in her career, even though she is she's a knowledge sim. I believe she's a secondary. Yeah, she's a secondary family sim, so she's more than happy to have this would be her third child. When it comes to her traits, she's excitable, she's hot-headed, she's artistic, and she's star quality and a great kisser. So yeah, I believe Talia here and Astro, they've been together since I believe they have been teenagers, so because both of them were born, well, maybe not. I guess he is a little bit older than her. But yeah. And this is Vander Smith here. So he is going to be becoming a teenager here very shortly. He is in private school and he's doing very, very well. For his personality, he is a Aquarius, so he's very neat. He's kind of shy, a little bit more lazy, maximum playful, and maximum nice. So he is literally the complete opposite of his sister Idalia. So that's going to be a lot of fun to have them grow up together. She's going to be terrorizing her older brother. But I think he's going to end up being a really good big brother, though, so that's going to be cute. And this is Idalia. I do love when I have the kind of natural skin tones and the black eye combination from my mixed alien sims. So Idalia here got the red hair again. So she's halfway in becoming a child here soon. I will check out her personality. She's a Taurus, so she's maximum neat, maximum outgoing, in between lazy and active, maximum playful, and the grouchiest you can be. So she's going to be starting fights. She seems like she's going to be a very mean child with being very grouchy, but also very outgoing. Oh yeah, she's going to be a terror. So that should make her plenty of fun, especially with her new siblings that are going to be here soon. And now a final look at the Smith household. I did kind of want to take a peek over here to the graves of Polynesian and Jenny over here. I will be adding them to the cemetery that I'm going to make for Strangetown shortly. And now I think it is time to go see another. I think we should go see Johnny next. I feel like that makes sense. And nestled over here at the edge of town is the Nigmos household. Here we have Johnny, Ophelia, Vera, Tycho, and Hecate. And this is their description. It says, Johnny and Ophelia seem like a mostly normal family, but there have always been secrets that have lived below the surface. Can they keep them buried and finally find some peace? And you don't see Ophelia's hair here, but she has a little afro. Welcome to the Nigmos household. If this house does look familiar, I've actually used it for Angela and Hal's house in Pleasant View. I think it fits better in Strangetown, but I'm still not sold on it. This is the house of Johnny Nigmos, Ophelia Nigmos, Tycho Nigmos, Hecate Nigmos, and Vera Nigmos. And yes, Johnny here is in fact an elder. He just turned into an elder yesterday, so Sunday. Here is Johnny Nigmos. This outfit, I will change his outfit. This doesn't really fit him. This is just what he aged up into from his birthday yesterday. So Johnny here is an elder. He's 63 days old. He is a popularity aspiration. He works in the journalism career, but he's had multiple jobs, mainly music as a career. He's kind of failed. He's been fired a lot. Johnny has not had the greatest career transitions through his life. But luckily his wife Ophelia has helped him out. He is a Gemini, so he's a little bit more sloppy. He's outgoing. In between lazy and active, he's a little bit more serious, and he is nice. I do want to look at his secondary, though, because he has a secondary romance aspiration. He's a couch potato. He's irresistible. He's a virtuoso. He's artistic, and he is hydrophobic. So during Johnny's life, after he had gotten fired, that's kind of when I gave him his secondary aspiration, which is romance. And he has had quite a couple flings, but that hasn't happened in a while. Not that it won't stop any ACR interactions, but for the most part, he has, he hasn't seen like Nina in a very long time or anything like that. But he did have quite a bit of affairs, but he has not rolled it in a long time. So I think that was kind of a midlife crisis for him. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if that ends up coming back. Because here we have Ophelia, which I love Ophelia. Her makeup's a little strong, but for the most part, I always try to I see her as being like the cool drama teacher or something like that. So I try to give her like naturally curly hair, and she's been, growing the afro out. But today is actually her birthday, so she's about to become an elder today. She did get a job in the architecture career. She's a master architect, and I do believe she, at least I thought she was interested in moving up in the career, but she does have some big wants here. Girl, you are not having a baby. She did go to college. She has a secondary popularity aspiration, so her and Johnny liked having quite a few parties. She's easily impressed. She's a perfectionist, family-oriented. She's handy, and she has no sense of humor. So the thing that's nice about Johnny and Ophelia is they both actually have the music and dance as their one true hobby. So they have tons of instruments in this house. It's almost unbearable sometimes. But yeah, we'll see Ophelia turn into an elder, and believe it or not, she's actually a grandparent already. However, right here, Tycho here, who has moved in back from college, he's been here for a while. He's kind of a mooch because he is a romance. Oh, he flunked out of college. So I actually got expelled out of college. He's a romance. I probably gave him a secondary though, right? Yeah, he's a secondary fortune sim, so at least he like does actually want to kind of make some money. He's a party animal. He's a supernatural fan. He's easily impressed, and I have to give him his other two traits. For the most part, Tycho, I think what I want to do with him is possibly have him move in with Orion when his sister moves out and his when Lola passes away, because then I can have two alien. I'm sorry, he's not an alien. Two romance Sims living together, and then it's not too crowded. He does have a job as a model, funny enough. So he's a catalog model. And then I do want to show his two children. So he has Sylvia Baldwin and Tarak Cap, which we have already met. So this is with Kaylin here, and then this is Callie Baldwin. So he actually had got Callie pregnant while he was in college. So he ended up having a child much earlier than most of my romance sims end up. So but yeah, he's just living life. He does have some bills to pay, so hopefully he'll move up in his career. Oh gosh, here's Hecate. Hecate is their oldest daughter. I want to have her get out. She just moved in from university, but I think I'm going to have her move in with her girlfriend here shortly, like today probably. So yeah, Hecate here, she is currently with Justine Caliente. They've been together since they were teenagers. She is a fortune sim, and she wants to get a promotion. She does have a custom job. She is in the alchemy career. She's an assistant alchemist. So I kind of have debated on making Hecate a witch, because that's fun and appropriate, and I feel like would work out perfectly. It's like the daughter of Johnny and Ophelia here. Her personality, she's a Gemini. She's a little bit more sloppy. She's outgoing, active, a little more serious, and in between grouchy and nice. And she is a popularity sim, secondary popularity sim. And then for her traits, she loves to swim. She's a snob, a social butterfly, a diva, and an avant-garde. So I do believe she also enjoys music. Oh no, she's into fitness. And then there's one more sim we have to see, and that is Vera here, who's playing the piano because she is also into music. Everybody is always playing instruments at this house. And Vera is super cute. She still has a little bit of ways before she becomes either an adult or a young adult. She is a popularity sim. So her and her boyfriend here, Cedric, get along great. Personality-wise, she is a Cancer. She's a little bit more sloppy, a little bit more outgoing, in between lazy and active, a little bit more serious, and a little bit more nice. She definitely has that middle-of-the-ground personality for a Cancer. So since she is a popularity sim, I will either make her maybe Fortune as her secondary. We'll see. And no traits yet. So she will get them. I usually like to give them a couple while they are teenagers at least. And a final look here at the Nigmos household. This household's going to change very quickly, but I'm glad that they're all still together as a family, so it was easier to introduce them. Like I said, Tycho's probably going to move out, and Hecate is too, and then Vera will be here by herself until she ends up going to university or not. I think I'm going to go over here to the Grunt house. It is still the same Grunt house. I have changed it a lot. We have Tank here, his wife Allie, and then I have Omari here. And then this says, with the passing of General Buzz, the Grunt family has been so much more peaceful. So why is Tank still so stir crazy? Here we are at the Grunt household. I haven't changed a lot of the outside of the house other than adding a pool and getting rid of the tower. I have made this house work for the most part, but here we have Tank Grunt. I looked how to pronounce pronounce this name. I always kind of called her Allie, but it's when I looked it up, it said the proper way to pronounce it with Alin. So I'll probably still call her Allie though. And then we have Omari here, who is the third child from Tank and Allie here. I'll go ahead and show his siblings. So he has two other siblings, Lila, who is in university, and Ethan, who is currently in Veronaville with his new wife, Gia. Alan she was just a townie. The Tank, for the longest time, did not have a lot of attraction with some Sims, but he still only has one with her right now. He used to have more. He's been an interesting Sim, to say the least. He did not go to college, which he was kind of a disappointment to his dad for that. Here he comes down the stairs. He's actually going to become an elder today. So Tank will be an elder right with Johnny. He's looked the same for most of his adult life. He's still a popularity sim. I have him being a detective level 6 in the law enforcement career, which is the highest he can get because he did not go to university. He's a Capricorn, so he's in between sloppy. Well, he's a little bit more neat, a little bit more shy, very active, very serious, and not as grouchy as you would think. He's in between grouchy and nice. He does have a secondary. He's a secondary fortune, so he did try and provide for his family. However, Alan here is a very successful woman. But for his traits, he's excitable, he loves the cold, he's a born salesman, he's handy, and he's a vehicle enthusiast. So I did have him make a couple cars. Again, I kind of feel like even though he couldn't really go into the military career, I wanted him to be a little bit different from his dad's, but I felt like Tank gave off cop energy. So he joined the law enforcement career. This is Allie, or Alan. She, like I said, she was a townie. She's only 3 days from becoming an elder. She's honestly a gorgeous sim. I'm surprised. I don't know what happened to her and Tank's chemistry, but her and General Buzz hated each other. She kind of came in. She's extremely successful. She's the top of the culinary career, and when she first moved in, after her and Tank got married, she was already level 8. So I kind of took that as she was a very passionate about her career. So she ended up making a ton of money and kind of like taking over the house and changing it. And then Buzz didn't like it. So he was kind of like resentful towards her, but he absolutely adored his first grandson, Ethan. I have never seen General Buzz take any effort with that with his own children, but he put all of his energy into his grandson, Ethan. All of his grandchildren, but specifically Ethan. When it comes to her, she's a Pisces. She's in between sloppy and neat. She's more shy, very active, more serious, and pretty nice. She is a secondary fortune sim. And for her traits, she's a diva, she's lucky, she's hot-headed, she has no sense of humor, and she's a natural cook, which makes sense because she is in the culinary career. And Omari here is just jamming out on the drums. I'm going to kick him off for a second. He's a family sim. He is with, I believe that's Samara, correct? Where are you? Yes, Samara. That's his girlfriend right now. And they have really good attraction. I don't remember. I think she's a knowledge sim. So yeah, that's the knowledge sim, family sim thing. He's pretty cute. I think all of their children have been very attractive, even if they do get Tank's nose. So he has his mom's dark hair and the blue eyes. He is a family sim for his personality. He's an Aquarius. He's in between sloppy and neat. He's shy, a little bit more active, very, very playful, and he is nice. And then, so I might make his secondary either fortune or popularity, I feel like would work for him. Do you go to private school? He does go to private school. So Alan here has definitely tried her best to push her children into, getting into those more elite schools, and just so that way they have as many connections. I feel like status really meant a lot to her. So her being kind of the breadwinner of this family kind of caused a little bit of resentment, but Tink really couldn't compete. So and our final look here at the Grunt household. It definitely looks nicer with the big pool and nice area back here. I did keep this obstacle course. I feel like that was important for General Buzz while he was still alive. But I think now we're going to go see Jill and Buck. And right across the street from the Grunts, we have the Grunts. Except this time, we have Buck Grunt, we have Jill Grunt, and their daughter, Missy Grunt. They do have one more child that is currently in college. But I will read this description. Buck and Jill have always been connected through their hearts and minds, but their daughter couldn't be more disinterested in their work and just wants to hang out with her friends all the time. Can they lighten up for the sake of their daughter? Or will the pressure finally get to her? Welcome to the second Grunt household, where we have Buck Grunt, Jill Grunt, Missy Grunt, and they do have a son who is he actually is out of university. This is Paul Grunt. I believe he just moved in with his fiance, so he just got out of university. So we will actually see him when we eventually get to Belladonna Cove. So Buck here, he is 10 days from being an elder, and Jill here is 11 days, which is really crazy to think about. And did I show their tree? Yes. So yeah. This is the Grunt family tree. We'll see Zoya here in a minute. But this is their small house. I feel like they could have gotten bigger, but currently they only have their daughter here. So I wasn't looking to try and get them another house until I knew they would at least use it. So they've just been living here. Here is Buck and Jill. Jill here, and Buck listening to his MP3 player. So Jill and Buck, I wasn't planning on trying to have them be together because I feel like that's pretty predictable. But they had 3 bolts. So, you know what? I let them be their knowledge selves. And their daughter here is a popularity sim, actually. So she is not so, academically inclined is the nice way to say it, which is fine. She at least wants to go to university at this point. So Buck did not have the best relationship with his dad. It did get better when he was older, but for the most part, Buck is not a physical sim like his brothers. He's definitely more knowledge-based. So his personality is a Scorpio. He's maximally neat. He's shy, he's lazy, he's very serious, but he's super nice. He is currently the head of the SCIA level 10 in the intelligence career. His secondary is family. And his personality, or his traits are he's good, he's perceptive, easily impressed, a natural cook, and a diva. And I believe Jill is going to come downstairs and play with Missy here. And Jill is also a knowledge sim. But she is at the top of the oceanography career. So she's the hand of Poseidon. She's a Virgo, so she's very neat as well, but she's shy, a little bit more active. She's a little bit more playful and in between grouchy and nice. Her secondary is also family. And then for her traits, she's a bookworm, adventurous, loves to swim, excitable, and perfectionist. And Missy here, who is their youngest child, she's a popularity sim. So she's more concerned with having friends as opposed to studying, but she does do pretty good at school. She does want to go to college right now, and she has a B+ in private school. She does have a bunch of friends here, including her cousin Vera. And Killian is, at least they're interested. I think he's a little bit younger than her, so she isn't quite so serious about being with him, but I guess we will have to see. It wouldn't be the first time I had Sims that were in the same generation get together. But yeah, for the most part, she's a Virgo. She's very neat, like her parents as well. She's shy, or yeah, she's a little bit more shy, kind of lazy, very serious, but also very, very nice, like her father. I did give her a couple traits. So she loves the cold. She's a perfectionist and a photographer's eye. So perhaps I do see her kind of eventually becoming a secondary knowledge sim. I don't think that her parents wouldn't rub off on her. So she has had a couple parties. I like my teens to have like generational parties, and when I do my generations, they're generally sims that are born all in the same round. So I kind of keep them grouped together. But yeah, that's this family. And we should go on to, I think, the Beakers. And a final look here at the Grunt house. I guess Jenny did kind of rub off on Jill, considering she has a very green house to live in. And we're going to come over here towards the Beaker house. It is the same Beaker house, but it has changed a lot. Here we have Iris Rubin, Myra Beaker, Joshua Rubin, Nicola Rubin, and John Beaker. So the description here says, with Loki and Cersei's reign of terror finally over, will their daughters choose a different path or continue their parents' horrific one? So Cersei and Loki have been dead for a very long time in this game. They were actually one of the first of the like adults, at least the adults that you start with in game, that did pass away. So found that kind of interesting that it was them. We're gonna go in. And here we are at the Beaker household. We have Joshua Rubin here, Iris Rubin, John Beaker, Mira Beaker, and Nicola Rubin. So Iris and Myra are the children of Loki and Cersei. But these are their husbands here. And you may be familiar here with Joshua Rubin. He is from Sim State University. He was the one that he did get into a relationship with Iris back when they were both in university. And then once he joined the rotation, I didn't realize that he had a brother, and that's when I tried to get him into the rotation by him getting with Kaylin. So this is Kaylin's husband's brother, and that's how he kind of joined this whole thing. He is a fortune sim. I don't have him having all of his wand slots, but I do believe that he went to college. He's 22 days from becoming an elder. He still doesn't have a job. He's been waiting on this job for a while, but he's been kind of the main caretaker of their son. So he is unemployed. He's a Leo, so he's very sloppy, which both sisters hate. He's outgoing, active. He's in between serious and playful, but he's a little more grouchy. I don't know. I have not given him a secondary yet just because he hasn't been playable for very long. And for his traits, he has star quality, party animal, virtuoso, gatherer, and green thumb. And here is the oldest child of Loki and Cersei. This is Iris. Iris Rubin. She's currently pregnant. This is very much not her outfit, but she should actually be giving birth shortly. Both sisters are actually pregnant. She's a knowledge sim. She is at the top of the military career, general level 10. She's a Scorpio, so she's very neat, pretty outgoing, very active, but very serious and grouchy. Secondary sim, she is a secondary fortune sim. And her traits are never nude, no sense of humor, vegetarian, evil, and a great kisser. Interesting combo. John here. John recently moved in to be with his wife. He's pretty cute, but this is the son of, or brother of Baudry. He's a popularity sim. He didn't go to college, so he does not have the extra want slots, but he's done fairly well in his career. He is a vice president in the business career. This is the top of his career, at least that he can get to by himself if he gets another chance card, but he's already gotten a couple, which is why he's already gotten to level 7. He's a Pisces, so he's in between sloppy and neat, in between shy and outgoing. He's pretty active, more serious, and pretty nice. He has a secondary fortune aspiration, and his traits are lucky, loves the heat, handy, eccentric, and also a vegetarian. And this is Cersei and Loki's youngest daughter, Myra. She looks very similar to Cersei. She is also pregnant, so this is not her outfit. This will be her first child. She is a fortune sim. She is currently in the criminal career, level 8. She's a Scorpio as well, and she is maximum neat, very outgoing, maximum active, and very serious and very grouchy. For her secondary, she's a secondary romance sim, and then her traits are she's neurotic, she's eccentric, she's a party animal, she's charismatic, and she loves the cold. And then we have Nicola here. The main story with these two sisters is because if you look at their personalities, they are very similar. It's just that Myra here is just a little bit better than her sister. So Iris has always had a little bit of resentment towards her sister because her sister was prettier, because Iris here got Loki's genes, unfortunately. And then, but Myra ended up looking like her mother, which is very nice. I did give Iris some help with some plastic surgery. So she's just been a little bit better. I was kind of trying to have Joshua and Iris move out so they would have their own place. But I feel like that sits really bad with Iris. Iris feels like she should be the one in charge of her parents' castle. So I think I'm going to have everybody live in this house just because I don't feel like Iris would want to move away. Also, a bit of juicy drama when it comes to Myra because she is a secondary romance sim. She's been having an affair with her husband's brother, her brother-in-law, Badri. So yeah, this is definitely problematic to say the least. I was kind of hoping that Myra would get pregnant with Badri. This was one of the families I played kind of one day at a time and then kind of played Badri's household one day at a time, just because if she ended up getting pregnant with Badri earlier in the rotation, or at least earlier in the days of the rotation, then she would end up having, each one's baby. But she does want to have more relationships, so we'll see how that works. She's obviously pregnant and going to be a little bit busy, but yeah, she looks very much like Cersei. And then we have the youngest member. This is Nicola, as he is named after Tesla. And I am very terrified of this child's genetics. He got his father's nose. It's not looking great, but we'll see when he ages up. He has a few days before he ages up. I do think he knows all of his traits already, so he's super smart. He's a little bit more playful and nice than his mom, but that's not saying much. But he's a Gemini, in between sloppy and neat, but he's more outgoing and very active. So he should be interesting to play and interesting to see how he looks. He might need a little bit of help. And a last look at the Beaker Castle. It's still the same one. I have made it work. I've made the basement an actual basement. We'll see that when we actually get to gameplay, though. We don't have any more of the traditional Sims or the original Sims that live in in Strangetown anymore. But we do have 3 more households. This is the Lost family. This is Faith Lost, Thea Lost, Vanya Patel, and this is Glinda Lost. So this is their description. It says Faith and Thea never wanted a traditional job, so together the two decided to open up a shop. Can their hobbies turn hustles provide the life their parents were able to provide for them for so long? Now that we are here at the Lost household, we have Thea Lost and Faith Lost here, and they are in fact the daughters, goodness, of Kristen Lost and Laszlo Lost. So these two ended up getting married and having a couple kids. Thea and Victor here are actually twins, and the youngest is Faith. Here we have Thea Lost. I wanted to give her kind of a like flower power hippie look to her because she actually runs a flower shop. That is her, the shop that she opened up with her sister. Vanya likes to do pottery, so they have their own little artistic shop that they open up occasionally. So Thea here is a romance sim, so it also works out that she gets to meet a lot of people. So because she has her business, she is not employed. She's a Libra, very sloppy but very outgoing, lazy, a little bit more playful but very, very nice. And for her secondary, she's a secondary popularity sim, and her traits are hot-headed, flirty, and mooch. And then also artistic and green thumb. And yeah, this is some of her inventory for her shop. So this is her daughter here, Glinda. I want to give a good look because we're already here. So green eyes, dark skin, she's pretty cute. I have shown her father, we've been to him already, but her father is actually Badri here. So Badri has plenty of kids. So yeah, she is actually, this is her aunt Vanya here. Vanya is Badri's sister, who is currently dating Faith. So Faith and Vanya basically kind of help co-raise little Glinda here because obviously they don't have a kid together. They're not married or anything like that either. So yeah, this is her family tree. So here's Badri and John. So she is actually working on some, I think it's a picture for her shop that she has. But yeah, this is Faith. She is the youngest of Laszlo and Kristen's children. They recently passed away as well. So just take a good look at her. She's pretty cute. She's a popularity sim, so she does a lot of the kind of sales at their business. She's a Libra. She's pretty sloppy, very outgoing, lazy, serious, but very, very nice. And then she obviously doesn't have a job, didn't go to university. Her sister did go to university, but she has a secondary fortune sim. So yeah, she definitely takes care of the more businessy side of their business. Her sister does a lot of the, her flowers sell the best. She sells her pottery, Faith does, but for the most part, her sister's flowers really seem to be the most popular at the shop. And this is Vanya, the daughter of Anna and Ramir. I keep forgetting that they're alive. This is their youngest child. She's a knowledge sim. She is in the medical career, so she's a general practitioner. Her and Faith here, they're together, but they aren't engaged or anything. They really haven't shown any interest in doing that, but you know, I do have the spontaneous proposal mod, so you never know. So she definitely went to college, and she has a secondary popularity sim. And she is lucky, unstable, eccentric, a workaholic, and also a mooch. She does help out at her girlfriend's shop every now and again, but for the most part, she's kind of the one with a consistent stream of money coming into the household. I know we've already seen Glinda here, but I just wanted to make sure I show her personality. She is a Gemini. She is very, very sloppy, but very outgoing, very active, very serious, and very nice. So she is all or nothing, it seems. So she's going to be fun. I don't know what I'm going to have for her, what aspiration she's going to have. I'm debating on doing probably fortune and then popularity. But I guess we'll see. I don't know if she knows her father yet. She does actually know her father. I usually try to get Sims to meet their family while they can, but obviously Vanya here is her aunt, so she's been, you know, being semi-raised by her aunt as well, so all family is close by. So Kristen and Laszlo are still at the lot in some way. They were actually very successful in life, obviously. I believe Laszlo was the last of the brothers to pass. So he was one of the last, and that was really heartbreaking. Obviously, I think Lola and, where is he? Lola and her sister. Yeah, Lola and Chloe are still alive, but barely. So yeah, that's this household. Something a little bit different when it comes to making a business and kind of sticking with it. I've been trying to do that a little bit more. But we have two more houses next, or we have two more households next. And over here we have the last two families in Strangetown. We have a Broke family here. So this is where Bo Broke eventually moved to with his, I believe it's his husband, Marcus Baldwin, and their daughter, Hallie Baldwin. Not Haley Baldwin. This is Hallie Baldwin. There's a difference, and I couldn't help myself. But their description is right here, and we'll go ahead and read it. With nothing more than love and theories, Bo and his longtime partner Marcus moved to the desert. Will they fit in with so many strange neighbors, and can they expand their family in more unconventional ways? And this very pink house is the house of Bo Broke, Marcus Broke, and Hallie here. This is a house that I downloaded from The Sims. I believe this is just like part of someone made some Strangetown theme houses, and I thought this one fit really well with Strangetown. Kind of ugly, but that's what you're supposed to do. So Bo is here with their daughter Hallie before she heads off to school. Bo is not the one that carried Holly. Marcus is, even though they do kind of raise her in like a co-parent situation. Bo here, he is 16 days from becoming an elder. So Bo and Marcus both start as toddlers in the game, so it's cute that they ended up getting together. He is a knowledge sim. I always play him as a knowledge sim. He's at the top of the science crew. He is a mad scientist. He is a Gemini, so he is in between sloppy and neat. He's pretty outgoing, a little bit more lazy, pretty serious, and in between grouchy and nice. He is a secondary family sim. And for his traits, he is a daredevil, he is neurotic, he is a vegetarian, he is clumsy, and he is a supernatural fan. And Marcus here, who is the carrier of Hallie, and he is the child of Benjamin and Isabel Baldwin, and he has quite a few siblings here. He is also a knowledge sim, which is why I thought it was fitting that both of them would want to move to Strangetown. He obviously likes being abducted. He is in the medicine career, but he has a special hobby for robotics. He is a Capricorn, so he is a little bit more neat. He's in between shy and outgoing. He's active, serious, and grouchy. His secondary is fortune, and for his traits, he is socially awkward, ambitious, unflirty, a hopeless romantic, and a bot fan. I was planning on doing a, what are the servos? Yes. I was debating on doing a servo in this household. However, the servos, they live forever, generally. So, we'll have to see, but I think that if there was a family that I was going to do that for, it would be this family. So he actually, you can see there's a couple robots in this house. I think he can make one now. Yeah, so that's possibly something that they will do. Somebody to help out with Holly here. So Holly is kind of recently a child. She was carried by her father Marcus here. She is the child of PT-83, one of these PTs that came with a mod. So she's still growing up. She's not doing great at school, but I think today is actually her first day of school. She's a Taurus, so she's sloppy, outgoing, lazy, very playful, and grouchy. She will probably be a family sim, so that'll be cute considering she doesn't have a big family other than like some of her dad's family. So she doesn't necessarily fit in, but she fits in better in Strangetown. So not like the biggest family or anything, but this is definitely one of my more eccentric families. I feel like moving them to Strangetown was definitely like the right choice for this particular family. And they have a nice backyard back here and lots of telescopes. And then we will move on to our last family. And our final family down here is the Weir family. So here we have Elijah Weir, Zoya Weir, and their child Ezra. And so this is their description that says, Elijah wasn't always certain about Strangetown, but what he was certain of was his wife Zoya. He followed her to the strange and rural place. Can he fill his need for connection, or is Strangetown just too strange? And our final house here in Strangetown. This is another house from that collection of Strangetown houses that I downloaded from Mod the Sim. So here we have Zoya Weir, Elijah Weir, and their child Ezra. Zoya here does have a connection to Strangetown. And I'll go ahead and show her family tree. She is the child of Chloe Rutherford, who was previously Chloe Curious, and General Buzz Grunt. So General Buzz Grunt did eventually get over that whole alien thing, it seems. And here is Zoya over here holding her child, Ezra. Just want to get a good look at her. She definitely has like kind of, she would fit in a club with Lilith and Hermia for sure. So she is a knowledge sim. She is a mad scientist. She has already reached the top of the science career. So she's 28 days from becoming elder. So she definitely worked pretty hard at it. She is an Aries, so she's very neat, very outgoing, kind of lazy, very serious, but she is still nice. Her secondary is popularity. And for her traits, she is a workaholic, ambitious, very neat, or she is neat, a bookworm, and hates swimming. So she's a hydrophobe. I do believe she did meet her father, but they did not have a relationship, so. And here we have Elijah. So I want to go ahead and show his family tree. His dad was Connor Weir, so that's his connection in this neighborhood. His mother here, Gwendolyn, she is just a townie that Connor ended up eventually marrying. So he is a family sim. Him and Zoya here have really good chemistry. He is in the politics career. He is a congressperson, so he didn't take his career very seriously, and there was kind of an agreement between him and Zoya about them starting their family when Zoya got to the top of her career. So now that she has done that, now it's time for them to have kids. And, you know, Elijah here, he is definitely more concerned about his family as opposed to his job. For his secondary, he is a popularity sim. And for his traits, he is eccentric, he is a snob, he has a photographer's eye, he is a computer whiz, and he is missing a trait, so I'll have to give him one. So yeah, Elijah was the one that wasn't like that pleased with moving to Strangetown, but he knew that his wife had family here, even though technically her mom lives in Belladonna Cove, but that's a different part. So I just had to move in. I figured Strangetown was kind of, you know, still fit, considering their child here has black eyes. It fits a little bit better in my opinion. And we have the last look here at the Weir house. This is definitely my newest household in Strangetown, so they will probably be one of the last ones we play in this neighborhood. And a final look here at our Strangetown. Definitely the smallest of the neighborhoods that we have. other than downtown. But thank you guys so much for watching part 3 of my stupidhood introductions, and I should have the next video out next week. Thank you so much.